All right, I'm excited for this next fight coming up too, man. Da-Un Jung versus Mike Rodriguez in a light heavyweight bout. And Mike Rodriguez is a guy who, Mike Slow Rodriguez is his nickname because when his boxing coach first saw him, he was like, "Oh shit, that guy's slow." And completely untrue if you watch him fight in the UFC, right? He's lightning fast, very explosive. 8 knockouts on his record in 14 fights. He's got 10 wins, 8 of them are knockouts. So this guy's a finisher. He's finished none of the fights that he's been in and won have gone to a decision. Very sharp Muay Thai, very good kickboxing, good in the clinch, throws some elbows and stuff in there, and he's long, right? So if you can be long and have good elbows and good inside work, it's very hard for opponents to get off on you in the clinch, right? And that's where a lot of people want to put you. Before they get the takedown, you end up clinching a lot up against the cage. So for him to be good in that department is really important. His last fight against John Allen Arche was overturned after Arche tested positive for tamoxifen. I'm not exactly positive about what that is. Some type of, obviously some PED, right? I don't know all the terminology for all of them. But before that, he fought Adam Milstead, knocked him out in the second round. Lost a unanimous decision against Devin Clark, but in a fight where he had Devin Clark in trouble at times, man. His striking is just so much better, but he got out wrestled. So one of the things that I think you would be looking for if Mike Rodriguez was fighting a guy with some really good wrestling experience in this would be like, okay, he's obviously got some holes in his grappling game that we're going to take advantage of. But fortunately for Mike Rodriguez, he's fighting a guy in Da-Un Jung who primarily likes to keep things on the feet, but he's got a much different style than Rodriguez, whereas Rodriguez is explosive, and he's coming straight down the pipe with hard shots and throwing knees and kicks and hard-ass fucking leg kicks, man. I mean, he sat Devin Clark on his ass with a leg kick. Really fucking powerful. And so you'll see him firing stuff off with more intent. You know what I mean? He's trying to land. He's very precise, whereas Da-Un Jung is very patient. Fights behind his jab a lot, just throws things out there. Not the volume that Colby puts out, and you saw Colby get pretty aggressive this weekend, but just like he just wears on you slowly. And you saw when he fought Kadis Ibragimov. Ibragimov came out swinging, throwing haymakers, and he just covered up, man, stayed patient, kept fighting behind the jab, looking for openings, and eventually after Ibragimov fatigued himself, picked up a win in the third round via, I think it was a guillotine or a front choke. So this is going to be a battle of explosiveness and precision versus patience and the kind of fighting style that slowly wears on you over the course of a fight. The problem is that with a guy like Ibragimov, right, he had Da-Un Jung in some trouble. Jung was covering up, doing some good things, came back, like I said, very patient, very calm, but they were definitely significant shots that he was landing, right? Things that on the judges' scorecard might have gave the round to Kadis. But I think that the deciding factor in this fight is going to be that Mike Rodriguez is much longer. He's much more precise, and he has a lot of power. I think when you combine those three things, it's going to be a rough night for Da-Un Jung, who takes a while to get going. Now, key for Jung, stay defensive. Keep fighting behind your jab. Slowly work the body. Slowly work the head. Make the hands drop. Go up top. Leg kicks. You got to fight a well-rounded fight and wear on Rodriguez and hope that like you can get him to maybe draw him into throwing some of those explosive shots while you're staying defensive. If Rodriguez gets to implement his game plan, establish the range, you know what I mean? And he's long, so if he's hanging out where you're not able to touch him, it's going to be a long fucking night for you. So Jung needs to – I mean, I don't think he needs to change the style up, man. I think he just needs to maybe put a little more volume out in order to get the respect of Rodriguez so he doesn't get finished early. If he's able to do that, slow the pace of this fight down to his style and then slowly come on stronger in the second and third round, he might be able to pick up a win in this fight. But I personally think that Rodriguez is going to get it done before time expires. I think that, like, I just think his striking is on a little bit of a higher level when this fight is primarily going to take place on the feet. I think that Rodriguez has more in his arsenal in terms of attacks, and I think that he's more explosive and more powerful and a little bit more precise with his punching, and he has more intent behind them. So I'm taking Mike Rodriguez in this fight. I think Rodriguez's best chance is to win it early, but if the fight wears on, you might see Jung start to take over. Like I said, very patient, very calm, very poised, and he's got a veteran mindset when he's fighting in there, which is good. So, interesting fight.